Good morning, everybody, from Cape Town, South Africa. It's actually the wee hours of the morning, and people would think I'm a witch being up at this time. I'm here to talk to you about your superpower. What makes you who you are? I am sitting on the edge, afraid to jump across, for to jump, if I made it, would be to cross to the dark of the other bank, into the threshold, would be to admit pain, to break off that which holds me captive, ties me to this side. I am sitting on the edge, watching it crumble, stones rolling into silence, afraid to jump in because my mind cannot fathom the depth I would enter. What would I do if I fell into a raging torrent onto sharp rocks, or if I fell and fell and fell forever? What if I could not pick up the pieces? What would happen to me and the ones I love peering down from above? And yet, to jump would be to love myself again, find my way through the thicket on the other side. To jump would not be to start completely anew, would be to say to myself that the answer lies within. To jump would be to trust that the part that knows, knows. I will be held in invisible wings. Have you ever felt as if you are standing stuck in one place, unable to move, and nothing is happening, and you've forgotten who you are? Many women I talk to get to a point in their life where after school, they started working, some of them got married, they had children, and in that chaos, well, not chaos, but in the living of that life, something of who they were got forgotten, got left behind. And they're suddenly known as someone's mother, I'm really sorry. They're known as someone's mother, as someone's wife, as someone who works in a certain place, but they do not know who they are. They have forgotten. It was in the 1990s, and I had been working in an NGO in Cape Town, working with schools, doing school development, supporting people, supporting teachers. And in that time, I was mothering, I was a foreigner living in a foreign country, and I did not know who I was. I felt lost. And one day, we did a workshop. And this woman who ran the workshop came and she asked us, "Who are you?" And then she asked us, "What do you understand as power in the world?" That was an interesting question. Because power in the world, in my mind, was money, men, engineering, doctors, bureaucrats, men in gray suits. And then she looked at us and she said, "Well, that is one way of thinking about power. But when are you at your most powerful?" I thought for a while and I thought, I'm powerful because I'm a woman. There's just something for me in my being woman that actually gives me such a sense of power and such a sense of grounding. I am powerful because I am Black, I am African, and I'm proud of being African. I really cannot imagine being anything else in this world. And I'm powerful when I tell a story, when I write poetry, when I sing, when I hold a space for people to listen and to become who they are. All of these things in the world that I live in were not seen as powerful. They were seen as, I remember when I went to study education and someone said to my mother, "Hey, poor thing, we thought she was going to be a doctor." But there I was. And on that day, I came back in touch with the thing that made me powerful. And I realized the world does not see it as powerful. But when I remember that that is who I am, and when I stand tall and strong in that space and work out of that space, I am actually powerful. In that time, I remember working with a group of bureaucrats in the Department of Education. And we were talking about how you work as multidisciplinary teams. And we wanted to see how to make them understand that, but in a different way. And I said, let's get them to sing in 3-part harmony. And everybody looked at me and I said, no, trust me. And I got this room of almost 100 men in gray suits to sing in 3-part harmony. And then after they sang, we reflected on what did you learn about yourself and the song you were singing? What did you learn when you put it together with somebody else's song? It became more beautiful. And I had to listen. And if I didn't listen, it didn't fit. And we got lost. But when we paid attention to what we were singing and to what the others were singing, we created an even more beautiful song. And then we used that lesson and said, so what does it mean when you work as a multidisciplinary team? In that time, I started to realize that's my superpower. That's a thing that I do, and it works. But then I lost it again. I started working and I got over, I wanted to change my job and I didn't know how to change my job and I got stuck again. And I met a friend, a woman called Tina, who was a singer. And I started doing singing lessons with Tina. Every week I would go and we would sing, we would breathe, we would sing. And in the singing, I came back to myself. I found a place of stillness. I found courage. I found strength. I remembered who I was. And through that work that I did with Sis Tina, I got the courage to leave my job and to start a company called Namtevi and Associates. And I started facilitating across different sectors and doing work. And that led me to do some work in the United Kingdom. It led me to do work in Cape Town. But it was that thing that reminded me of who I am. Fast forward to, I think it was 2008. And I remember, again, I was at that crossroads. You know, I believe that every 7 years or so, you go through this questioning of who you are, what your work needs to be. And I was in that place again. And there was a course I joined. It was a course called Leadership Through Art. 3 therapists, a music therapist, an art therapist, and a dance therapist. And they worked with us. And we did, I think it was about 11 days. I can't remember how long it was. But I remember using image, using sound, using movement, which was really a language that I was really comfortable with. And not using many words, I discovered again what I wanted to do. But I also was very centered in who I was. I found myself just coming back to myself and being centered. And at the end of the course, I went back home, and 2 days later, we had an armed robbery in the house. And I was so calm. I was so calm, and I was able to hold the space and make sure everybody was safe and not do anything triggered. And I know that I was calm and centered in that space because I had taken the time again to engage with art, to engage with the things that make me who I am. And so over time, I have learned that my art, my music, my storytelling, my creativity are my superpower. They're those things that I need and I go to when I need to refill my well, when I need to be centered, when I've forgotten who I am, when I'm questioning what's the next step I need to do. Those are the things that I begin to do and I remember. And the last time that was not the last time, but one of the more recent times was again in 2012 when I took a storytelling course. And I didn't have the money, but I paid for 5 weeks full time. I didn't do anything. So for 5 weeks, I was in this space where I was going for coaching. We were learning, we were telling stories, we were performing, but we were also looking at how we use stories for leadership, how we use stories in different ways. And I remember coming home one day and telling the people at home, I think I found my tribe. I have found the people who know we speak the same language. And I am going to find ways to use this storytelling in the way that I work. 2 weeks after that, I got a phone call from my mother in Uganda. She was 82. I hadn't seen her for a while. And she said to me, "When are you coming home?" And I knew that that wasn't a question. It was a summons. You know, sometimes when the elders talk to you, you know they're telling you, come home. And so I went home and I spent 2 weeks with my mother. And I came back to Cape Town, and 2 weeks later, she passed away. And again, I had a real sense of peace and centering because I know that it was almost like the storytelling course for me had been a preparation and a place that I went to. What happened after that is I have now in my life taken time to work with women, to remind them to do their creative work, because women let go of their creative work. And it is the one thing that enables us to continue when life is hard, like in this time of the pandemic, when we don't know who we are and you wake up and every day seems to melt into every day. Your creative work, whether it's gardening, whether it's sewing, whether it's art, is the thing that reminds you that you have the power to turn nothing into something and you can change the world. And that is my mission in the world right now, to hold spaces and circles where women can come together and find the thing that makes them who they are. And then to practice it and not to feel like it's not important, no one's going to pay attention to it. And that is my invitation to you right now. You can go and do the thing, your creative work, and remember, it feeds your soul, it enables you to be the woman that you need to be. And even if the world doesn't see it as powerful, it is your superpower. If you want to talk to me more, find me on Facebook, Phillippa Namutebi Kabali-Kagwa, Kabali-Kagwa, or on Instagram, or you can email me Namutebi, Namutebi 1964 @icloud.com. And remember, you have a superpower. Thank you.